Two men are walking down this Darlington Township road when they make a shocking discovery. The body of a partially clad woman lying dead in the field along the road. The case has investigators stumped from the very start. The woman isn't from Beaver County, and it's clear she wasn't killed where she is found. Police eventually learned the woman is Patricia Randolph, who goes by the nickname Babydoll. But who killed her, where, and why remain a mystery to this very day. Join us as we look further into the murder of Babydoll Randolph. I'm LeVar McBride, and this is Cold Case, Beaver County.
911, what is your emergency?
You got three people of interest still, say, I do. Three people of interest, then you got that blank face.
Now that's why nobody really knows if she is dead or alive.
He was set free and he was set free to go kill.
We've never gotten that one break. We've never gotten that one break. You know, we will though.
Patricia Randolph is a pretty petite girl who looks even younger than her 20 years. Despite her young age, she has clearly had a hard life. Police learned she worked as a prostitute and had at least one boyfriend who was physically violent toward her. They also learned she has damage to her liver, a sign of alcohol abuse. She has healed scars on her eyebrow, knee, and wrist, but there will be no recovery from the most recent violence inflicted upon her.
Back in November 19th of 1977, a couple of guys who are minding their own business are out on Anderson Road, which is in Darlington Township, and it's pretty much the last road that you could cross before you go into Ohio from Pennsylvania, off Route 51. On Anderson Road, they find a body, partially clad, of what they see as a young African-American girl laying in the field right off the road.
An autopsy shows the woman has been strangled. Investigators begin to work to identify her. Coroner Harper Simpson has an idea. Get an artist to create a sketch of the woman and release it to the media.
In addition to being a coroner, I'm a funeral director. The body remained unclaimed after the autopsy. We couldn't identify. So I brought the body to my funeral home and I embalmed her. And that sets the features a little better and makes her look more comfortable. Then we brought in an artist from Beaver Falls High School, and that happened to be my brother-in-law. I mean, I knew of him, and he was very good at what he did. He eventually became a professional artist. But I asked him to come down to the funeral home and come into the embalming room, Lynn Davenport, and do a picture of this young woman to see if he could do better than the police could do. And the likeness was incredible of what he did.
Simpson's idea works. Within a couple of days, police have identified the woman as Patricia Randolph from Pittsburgh's Brushton Homewood neighborhood. But her identity alone isn't enough to solve the mystery.
The police investigation was difficult. It is almost in Ohio. It's on a truck route. It is an area that was, that time was not far from a very busy truck stop in Ohio. And then it goes back to the city of Pittsburgh. So the city of Pittsburgh detectives did assist the Pennsylvania State Police and the county detectives with their investigation, but they were never able to put it all together.
There were no witnesses. It was your typical whodunit. There wasn't a whole lot to go on.
Then police, with the help of a known prostitute who knew Randolph, consider a chilling possibility.
Out of the clear blue sky, they get somebody who connects her to Eddie Surratt, our serial killer.
Edward Surratt is the area's most notorious serial killer who would eventually be charged with 18 killings in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Florida, including 6 slayings in the Beaver County area. Trooper Thomas finds and re-interviews the woman who connected Surratt to Randolph 37 years ago.
When I first approached this woman, I identified myself and told her why I was here. I said, investigating the cold case homicide of Patricia Randolph. And she seemed kind of stunned at first because it's been 35 years, over 35 years. And I said, I'm just touching base with you because it's a cold case homicide. And she said, well, why now I thought he was in jail, which struck me as odd. And I asked her, I said, who? And she said, Eddie. That struck me as she thought that he did it.
Police in 1977 had been given information that Surratt had been her pimp and that he and Randolph had argued in a Pittsburgh bar a few weeks prior to her death. But recently, the woman gave the police more details.
She advised me when I interviewed her that it was more than just an argument. It was a pushing, shoving match to the point where both Edward Surratt and Babydoll Randolph, Patricia Randolph, were removed from the bar. A little bit later, Edward Surratt came in with a real bad attitude and advised the woman I talked to that she needed to find a way home.
Another horrific crime investigators know Surratt committed is discovered around the same time and in the same area as the discovery of Randolph's body.
I went on the scene with Babydoll, which was one we found that evening of the 19th. And the very next day, I was called to a scene in Falston, which was Bill and Nancy Adams, where Bill Adams had been killed and Nancy Adams had been kidnapped. We felt at the time we were suspect that maybe the Babydoll murder, because we were finding out different things about that one, maybe that was tied to the one in Falston. Perhaps whoever picked her up as a prostitute had done the deed in Falston, the murder in Falston.
Investigators are left with theories, many questions, and few answers. They were never able to get enough evidence to charge Surratt, who is currently serving a double life sentence in a Florida prison with Randolph's murder.
The question that's being asked is, does anybody know anything about that time and about that place? There's a major truck stop not far by. We're just asking anybody that might have been driving truck at that time if they remember anything unusual, and they will see the picture of this composite drawing in the picture in this series. So if they have any recollection, I know that's a lot to expect, but at this point we have to expect a lot. I mean, we really have to have a major breakthrough on this one. And I'll be the first to admit that it's going to take a real substantial element to put this one across. And we need somebody who heard something, saw something, particularly anybody seen her in company with this, whatever individual it was. In many cases, I always make the statement that we're knocking on as many doors as we can. In this case, we have to find the doors.